medicated or unmedicated, happy gas or epidural, planned cesarean or emergency cesarean. There are so many different types of birth and delivery stories that you hear, and is there a right way to bring a child into this world? That is what we're talking about today. So if this sounds interesting to you, stay tuned, give it a big thumbs up because it really does support my channel. Don't forget to hit subscribe and tap that bell to get notified when we upload every Monday and Thursday, and let's discuss this question. If this is our first time meeting, thank you so much for clicking on today's video. My name is Beck and I am currently expecting our fourth and final baby. At my 26-week appointment, which was the last video that I uploaded, was facing a big question, and that was, how could I ease my anxiety over labor and delivery? I know that every woman's body reacts to the process of bringing a child into the world very differently, and even with my own children, I have found the last 3 births to be entirely different from each other. And because of my past experiences and the trauma that is related to their births, I was feeling so anxious about this next delivery, because with every single baby that I have birthed, my delivery time has been shorter, like my active labor time. And being my fourth and final bubby, I'm really scared that if I don't have a plan in place, that I am going to have a really unpleasant and traumatic birth experience. And that's not the way that I want to finish my story when it comes to bringing my children into the world. For some reason, there is this stigma about getting assistance in labor, or the fact of vaginal delivery versus cesarean delivery, and it's so stupid, because at the end of the day, whatever is best for you and baby should be what matters and what people care about, rather than them either openly judging you and your birth or doing it behind your back. And I cried in my doctor's office because I am so exhausted right now from parenting 3 kids and working full time, and I have not had a proper sleep in such a long time. And because I wasn't mentally prepared for this pregnancy, I feel like I've gone in on the back foot, and I feel like I'm always a couple of steps behind. And so now the thought of labor and delivery is like beyond what I can mentally handle. After discussing in great depth with my obstetrician, she gave me a couple of options. Obviously, induction is the route to go to help relieve my anxiety, and a good time to get induced is around that 38-week mark. We then had to discuss, what does my story look like, and looking at how we can support me both mentally and physically in delivering this baby safely, but also being as well prepared as I can be as I enter into that newborn phase again. So my doctor gave me a couple of choices. The first is I can go in and she can pop my waters, and then we can get the epidural done straight away, in which case, even if my labor is halved again and Finn was only 4 hours of active labor, then the epidural will have absolutely enough time to wash through, and it should be a very similar experience to Zoe's, where I will be able to feel the tightness of a contraction without the pain, and therefore having a good last experience with this baby. My second option is I could get the epidural first, pop my waters, put Syntocin in, and progress it through, once again being pain-free and relaxed, I guess, as much as I can be, because I'm not going to be tensing up from all the pain and not wanting to deliver, and it then becoming a traumatic experience. Or another thing that I really wanted to do, because it has always been part of my induction story, is getting my waters popped and going for a final walk, just because that's the last moment, I guess, that Mick and I get out in the air, because for the next like 5 days after that, especially in today's climate, I'm stuck in the hospital surrounded by 4 walls. So it's great to get out into the open, see the sky, hear the birds, feel the sun, all those sorts of things. Kickstart the labor as much as I can, and then come back, get the epidural. However, with that scenario, it could be very similar to Finn's, in which case, if I leave it too late, and there's, you know, something that comes up with the anaesthetist, I might have a similar experience where I feel everything, which I don't know if I want to roll the dice on that one. Driving back from my appointment, I cried many tears because for some reason I thought to justify being in labor, I must feel the pain of a contraction. Why? Why do we have to feel that when we have been blessed with modern medicine and already being so exhausted? Why should I have to force my body to mentally and physically go through the strain of working through every single contraction? If there is an option there for me to have a pain-free experience of my body dilating and effacing like it should all by itself with minimal discomfort. Thankfully, to the very wise words of my best friend and mum, they were able to help me to see the fact that I have labored for 3 kids and I have felt a contraction, and if I needed to wear that badge of honor, I have already done it. And that if I was presented with an option where I could be pain-free and to go into the next stage of being a mum to a newborn as well rested as I could possibly be, then I should take it. And having their support really helped me to mourn and accept the fact that Finn's labor would be the last labor that I had to go through any of that extensive amount of pain, and that with this labor that I will be able to, for all intents and purposes, actually enjoy it and enjoy bringing my final child into the world. I don't know if this is just me and the way that my brain is stupidly wired to believe that I have to feel a contraction in order to justify being in labor, or whether this speaks to any other mum watching this right now who's either about to go and deliver their first child, or maybe you're like me and you're about to deliver your 4th. I think that as long as you and baby are healthy and safe, and that you can go into the next step of motherhood in a good mindset, then that is the option you should take. And childbirth is so unpredictable. Finn came out with his cord wrapped around, and for like 2 or 3 minutes, he didn't cry. And that was the scariest moment of my life after losing a child in pregnancy. To think that I went through all of that and for Finn to be lifeless was just scary. Sometimes we need to be given permission that we can look after ourselves. If we are given the opportunity and the chance to plan it in a way that is best for us, our bodies, our minds, then we should take the opportunity without the fear that someone is going to judge us because they were able to do it in this way and why can't you do it that way? We don't need that in motherhood. It's tricky enough. We are constantly sacrificing ourselves because of our abundant love for our kids, that we don't need to be tearing each other down because our births looked different from each other. As long as we are delivering healthy and happy babies, and if we can do that in a way where we don't have a traumatic experience attached to it, then we should take it. Labor and delivery can be scary because it's unknown. And if it's your first, you don't know how your body's going to react to it. And if it's your last one, then I personally want to make the most out of it, which is the reason why I feel like not feeling a contraction is sad, because I didn't get to experience that last, knowing that it was going to be my last. But at the same time, I've done it 3 times. And do I really need to experience it one more time? And I think the answer is no. And I have had to really talk it out. There are definitely some aspects of pregnancy, labor, and delivery that just suck. They aren't pleasurable, and when I have binge watched, which I've done a lot of lately, pregnancy and delivery birth videos, seeing women in pain screaming their heads off saying that it was the hardest thing that they have ever done, which if you watched my birth vlog of Finn, it is that story. I don't want to relive that. Versus watching women give birth with their epidurals in and them being rested and ready to go. It reminds me that Zoe's labor and delivery was a piece of cake, and that's what I want for my final story. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you have done it to support me, then I appreciate you more than words can say. And if you're watching this all the way to the end because you are about to be in that same chapter of life as me, getting ready for birth, I hope this has helped you in processing what type of birth you would like to have, but also being open to the fact that sometimes it does change. So if you have enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up. It really does support my channel. Don't forget to hit subscribe and tap that bell to get notified when we upload every Monday and Thursday, because I will be sharing our final birth vlog, and hopefully everything goes according to plan. But this parenting gig doesn't come with a rule book. We only have each other, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.